Et alors, on m'apprend que Nicolas Schmit est là.
So I've learned that Nicolas Schmit is here, and we would love to hear him. So I think that some might not like that, but it's important that you can take the floor because I think you embody the renewal of the European Commission, and so we are counting on you to join this fight against climate change. So we would like to hear your vision on things for the next 5 years. So thank you, Nicolas, for being here. Thank you. I'm sorry for having been late, and I'm also sorry that I have to leave very quickly afterwards. Unfortunately, I wear many hats. But first of all, I'm happy to be here and to look into this room and see so many young people who for some time already have been committed to their future and our common future. So I would really like to congratulate you on your commitment, and I really have faith in young people because of what you're doing. So bravo for everything that you do every day and also through your different protests throughout the world. Bravo. So, your voices should not fall on deaf ears. So, there are conferences like this one which are important because now we must act. And the call that you have made is a call to action for all of us. Of course, first of all, this action begins on an individual level. We must all contemplate this and change our behaviors, of course. But the action that's required is also collective. It's on a state level, a societal level, and a European level. And I must say that I am proud. I am proud to be part of a commission that has set a very ambitious goal, a sustainable new Green Deal. It's an ambitious program. Of course, it is a program that we must have the means to carry out, and I think that is the topic today. Even when words sound very good, they are useful, speeches are useful, commitment is useful, but at the end of the day, of course, what really matters is what are the means that we can really deploy to accomplish this project. And this is a project that is geared towards transformation. It's a social transformation project. And when we mention the Green Deal or the new Green Deal, it depends on if you're on the American side or not. We know that this deal cannot be accomplished without the support of citizens. It can't just be top-down. It's together with citizens that we will arrive at this change. And the change is not a technical process. It's a political process, a deeply political process, but it's also a profoundly economic process. And I would like to talk about that a bit. We must know that with the current economic system, based on short-term goals, this won't help us to solve the problem of climate change. We must know that. It's not those who are looking at stock prices every morning before they have their cup of coffee. These aren't the people who will help us take effective action against climate change. So we need real change when it comes to how our economies work as well. We need to replace this view on the short term and this ideology of share value and the value of shares being more important than anything else. We need to replace this with a long-term approach, an economy that works for men, women, for the young and the less young. And so this is what we are working towards, and let us do it. To accomplish this, we need two important things. First of all, this transformation must be fair. When we talk about transition, when we use the word transformation, this must be something that is socially fair. Many studies show that the wealthier you are, the more CO2 you emit. So there is no question that the more wealthy of us need to carry a greater share of the burden. And we know that this creates tension in our societies, but social justice is an essential element of the fight against global warming. This is exceedingly important. So let us fight for a fair transition. Let us fight for a transition that is socially equitable, that does not put the burden of the transformation on workers and on the underprivileged through taxes or otherwise. The burden must be equally or equitably shared. That's the first idea. The second idea is that we need to put the investment into this. I know that our friends here have worked on financing. I don't know if we need 1 trillion or 200 billion. I think that other people have worked much more on that matter than I have, but I don't think that this is not within our reach. Because when you look at the capital moving around in the world today, when you see what central banks create in terms of currency, when you look at how this financial system has these hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars that are just asleep somewhere in shadow banking, then I will say the money is there. Or maybe it's not there, it should be, but I think that it's there. So what really matters is us building systems and frameworks and institutions that have the capacity, the financial capacity to channel the money that is there, that already exists, towards these systems so that they can act effectively with critical mass. Because climate change cannot be fought on the sidelines. It must be fought now. The time is now, and we must fight bravely. So, let us think about these institutional frameworks, this green bank that we need, and that can get the funding required. The funds are there. Central banks are making this money every day. So now the money is going towards banks and is replaced by central banks. It's a bit of a shady system. Why not take some of this money and invest it in the future? And when I say the future, what I'm talking about is survival, the survival of future generations and the survival of our planet. That is the challenge that we have to face today. Europe must show the way, and I have great hope that in a few months the United States will follow suit, because the same debate is taking place right now in the United States, and with a new U.S. administration, America will finally copy Europe, copy the new Green Deal, the European Green Deal, and together we can build a different future and start the transformation that you young people have been demanding. Thank you.
Merci Nicolas.
Thank you, Nicolas. I have no doubt that you will lead this fight too in the new European Commission. With allies like you